Hey family, and happy Resurrection Sunday. He is risen. He is risen indeed. Let's make his praise glorious on this Sunday morning. Y'all, it's April and I am sprung on spring. I was done with winter back in January. Mentally, I was checked out of winter, as I probably do every single year, now that I think about it. Well, let's kick April off right with this episode, Your Loss, Your Gain, How Losses Can Help You Win. Now, put on your thinking cap for a minute. What if I asked you whether you believed in yourself? Let's assume your answer is, and hopefully it is, yes, I believe in myself. My next question is, how does a person believe in himself or herself? Or what is required to believe in you? How would you respond? Let me and our other family members and friends know, because believing in oneself is an area of struggle for many people, whether rich or poor, young or old. Everyone in some way wrestles with believing in themselves. We hear from motivational speakers and in motivational speeches, just believe in yourself. That's all you got to do is believe. In our hearts, we know we should believe in ourselves. We should be our biggest cheerleaders. And we know if we don't believe in ourselves, we can't really expect anyone to take that leap of faith to believe in us. The other side of this conversation is that very few people in this world are making a conscious effort not to believe in themselves, meaning we aren't deliberately embracing unbelief. Yet we find ourselves frequently discouraged by unfavorable circumstances and doubting our ability to prevail against the odds. All of us watching this video are probably old enough to know that living on earth can feel like you're in a WWF wrestling match with the undisputed champion called life, and you're the underdog trying to win the prize. Life has kicked my butt more than a few times. When I was younger, I felt a bit scrappier, maybe even naively invincible, until my first TKO landed me on my back, and then the next had me balled up in a fetal position on the floor. Now, if you get your butt kicked often enough or painfully enough, you start to feel like a loser. After a loss, we aren't the ones taking the victory lap around the ring with the title champion and the fanfare and the prizes that come along with winning. No, we're the ones trying to leave the ring quickly and quietly to self-medicate in a dark room. I know you win some and you lose some, but no one steps into the ring to lose. Losing is a battle of its own. That's a whole nother fight. Wrestling with losing a previous battle. What happens is that after you deal with a loss in life, a new fight starts with you battling all the negative emotions associated with the loss. There's no recovery time from life's TKO. You get up, you lift up the ropes, you step outside of the ring, right into another ring to face your loss, to face disappointment, to face hurt feelings and disillusionment. In this ring, facing off with your loss, you don't hear cheering fans. You can't even hear your coach's voice reminding you to keep your hands up. All you hear is the taunts of your loss, trying to weaken your will to fight and your will to win. It's a private battle with no one else present other than you and your loss. The catch-22 is that you can't fight your losses and win in life at the same time. Fighting against your losses are all about surviving instead of thriving. You step into the ring hoping to survive each blow. Your mindset isn't about winning because you're tired. You just want to rest. But your previous losses keep ganging up on you, disrupting your peace of mind and weakening your resolve to prevail. And once you're in that survivalist mindset, winning is no longer your priority. Your priority is to survive each blow and to get through each round and make it back to your corner of the ring for a brief break. That's what your 9 to 5 looks like, right? Bang, 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 go home, rest up, step back into the ring, bang, 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 go back to your corner, rest up, only to do it all over again the next day. If you want me to be totally honest, and I know you do, your drama, if any, at home can be worse than what's happening in the center of the boxing ring. Instead of being able to rest and relax and recover at home, there might be a toxic situation at home present that further depletes your strength and your will to prevail. In the midst of all this drama, I could say to the survivalist, believe in yourself. But those words won't carry much weight because his or her butt is getting kicked at work and at home. As Jesus said, foxes have dens, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Let's say you see a homeless person begging for bread and you compassionately bend down in front of him, place your hand firmly on his shoulder, look him squarely in the eye and say, believe in yourself. What the heck does that mean to a person who is hungry and homeless? Nothing. The more immediate need of someone who is hungry is food, not motivation. The immediate need is physical, not psychological or spiritual. Believing in yourself is important. And if you ace it and master the practice of believing in yourself, you won't go hungry. You'll have other problems, but hunger won't be one of them. Believing in yourself resets the table of life so that you have a greater degree of control over your circumstances. You'll still suffer losses, but you'll recover quicker. You'll spend less time in the ring with your losses and more time in the classroom learning from your losses. I want to break this down a little further because our desire to win is really based on the fear of confronting the feelings associated with losing. We like the psychological boost of winning. Yeah, it feels good to win. And we want to ride on those good feelings all day, every day, but that's only because we have a bad relationship with our losses. We treat our losses like the enemy. We summon them into the ring and we challenge them to a fight. Anytime losses show up in our zip code, we act like gang members trying to keep the losses out of our neighborhood and off our block. But if you pick a fight with your losses, you won't win. You can't win because losses aren't something to overcome. You can overcome a cold or the measles, but you can't overcome being a parent. Even if your child is deceased, you are still their parent and he or she is still your baby. Similarly, your losses aren't something you get to overcome. They are your teachers in life. And if you humble yourself to learn from them, your losses will prove to be the best teachers you've ever had. Let's talk about different types of losses to help you appreciate what you are presently dealing with. Feelings of loss are very personal and only you know what is significant to you. People commonly associate certain losses with strong feelings of grief. These can include loss of a friend, death of a partner, death of a classmate or colleague, serious illness of a loved one, relationship breakup, or death of a family member. Subtle or less obvious losses can also cause strong feelings of grief, even though those around you may not know the extent of your feelings. Some examples include leaving home, illness, loss of health, death of a pet, change of job, move to a new home, graduation from school, loss of a physical ability, or loss of financial security. This list, which was provided by the Counseling and Mental Health Center at the University of Texas in Austin, provides an idea of how loss impacts everyone in various ways. I mentioned in a previous video that my son was dreading graduating from college because he didn't feel prepared for adulthood, while other students might be very excited and not perceive graduation as a loss. But with a new beginning, there is also an ending. And for some, that ending might represent the loss of something special. Nevertheless, losses aren't our enemy. They are our friends. When loss comes into our lives, classroom is in session. It's time to sit down and talk about what happened. It's time to listen and learn. All this fighting is wearing you down and wearing you out. You need time to rest and relax and recover. All this swinging your fists and dancing around the ring like a fake Muhammad Ali is unnecessary and unproductive. So let's bring it down, chill for a moment, and hear what your losses have to say to you. They are your teachers. Losses, as we term them, exist to help us improve and to move to the next level. Therefore, instead of dragging our losses into the ring to fight, we should walk into their classrooms, humbly sit at their feet, and learn. To turn losses into lessons learned, you have to quiet your emotions and listen. I'm a big Kung Fu flick fan. I've watched every martial art film worth seeing. Of course, my all-time favorite martial art master is Bruce Lee. I'm also a fan of Jet Li, Chow Yun-fat, Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa, and Michelle Yeoh. In the martial arts world, you have a master and you have students. I like seeing the master at work, demonstrating his confidence and superior skills, while the students look on in amazement, hoping to one day match or maybe surpass the skills of their master. Until that day, they humble themselves and learn from the one who can kick their butt and make them look foolish. We students of life don't revere our losses in the same way that martial arts students respect their sensei. Instead of humbling ourselves to learn and improve, we arrogantly challenge our teachers to a duel, thinking we can win against the likes of Bruce Lee. When someone or something effortlessly kicks your butt, it's smarter to embrace life's lesson than to remain ignorant. We can fight and overcome adversities without fighting by learning what Bruce Lee called the art of fighting without fighting. Bruce Lee's mastery was in converting every fighting ring into a classroom. When challenged, he was both student and teacher. He studied his opponent, quickly assessing their styles, dispositions, strengths, and weaknesses. On and off screen, many people challenged Bruce Lee to a fight, but very few treated those fights as opportunities for learning. Instead, they just wanted to win and walk away with bragging rights. Life doesn't work out that way when you're fighting a master. Before you even step into the ring, you've already lost, because those who operate in this way have an inferior mindset. No matter how talented and skillful you are, your mindset will limit how far you can take your talents and skills. Conversely, if you don't have many skills or talents, but you have the right mindset, your thinking will take you to uncharted heights in bliss and inner peace. There are basically two mindsets, one focused on surviving and one focused on thriving. The survivalist mindset views life from an inferior perspective and is often accompanied by an arrogant, scheming, and boastful disposition. The survivalists try to make their way up the proverbial ladder of success, but in the process, they tear themselves down and others as well. I can't even really call them competitive because they are merely schemers looking to get by or to get ahead of the next guy. The racism, sexism, and ageism and all the other counterproductive isms are born out of a survivalist mindset. Karen is a survivalist. Donald Trump is a survivalist. Arrogant, scheming, boastful, and small in his own eyes. On the surface, people who challenged Bruce Lee on the streets while he was going about his busy day seem like confident fighters Why else would they challenge a master to a duel? In reality, they were arrogant, small people who wanted the title of champion without studying what it takes to become a champion. Instead of challenging Bruce Lee, they could have asked to become his students. But that's not what survivalists do. Their system of thinking is in an ever-shrinking box, preventing them from seeing the big picture and obtaining the Quan. The thriving mindset engineers peace and prosperity and views life from a divine perspective. Thrivers have a generous, peaceful, and productive disposition. They try to make their way up the proverbial ladder of success through self-development and by forming interdependent relationships. They are competitive, but they compete with themselves by striving to be better and to do better. I'm not sure how many of you know about the practice of mindfulness. I plan to do an episode in the spring about the practice and benefits of mindfulness. I am a certified mindfulness coach and positive psychology practitioner. Mindfulness is a practice of maintaining self-awareness and being fully present in each moment, which involves embracing each moment without judging it as good or bad. The act of embracing is opposed to fighting. It is the art of fighting without fighting. Often people believe that embracing a bad situation means approving what happened, but that really isn't the case. Embracing is not approving the insufferable behaviors of others. To practice mindfulness, you would first avoid judging the situation as good or bad, because life is just life and all things work together for our good. So how can you say that this is good and this is bad? In the end, it's all good. Second, being mindful involves fully accepting what is, whether you agree with the outcome or not. You accept the facts of life as they exist right now. Third, you embrace your feelings as they are without judgment or justification. How you feel is how you feel. Don't try to make it pretty if it looks ugly. Accept every part of your life. By all means, endeavor to change what you don't like, but only after accepting how things currently exist. In my life, self-judgment have caused me a lot of pain. By labeling situations as good or bad, I've set myself up to ride on a roller coaster of emotions instead of being balanced and living in harmony with life as it comes. I've used mindfulness to combat fears that used to plague me daily. Years ago, I would wake up and fear would greet me. I dreaded facing the day. Even if I didn't have any specific thing troubling me, I still feared failure and the unknown. I feared not having what it takes to face challenges at work and at home. Honestly, it was a miserable existence, always feeling dread, and it crept into the smallest of concerns that I'd blow up into major challenges, and they really weren't. I knew that my emotions were fabricating sentiments that weren't based on facts, but I still couldn't stop myself from dreading what was next until I started practicing mindfulness. Now I wake up eager to start my day. I view challenges in the proper light and I create innovative solutions instead of wrestling with my emotions. Embracing versus fighting has restored peace and order to my world. And specifically, I have to thank Eckhart Tolle for his book, Practicing the Power of Now. I can't even count the number of times I've listened to his book, and within minutes, my mind shifts from surviving to thriving again. Thank you, Eckhart. I also need to send a shout out to my positive psychology professor, Breckel Polbrick, who is truly a master of his craft and exemplifies who I want to be as a success coach and transformational educator. To God be the glory, family, for the things He has done and is doing in our lives. God's intention is for your loss to be your gain. Do you agree with His intentions or not? If you agree and you want to be sure your loss has become your gain, then you need to change your mindset. You need to shift the way you view your losses.
Make the conscious decision to learn from your losses. Don't walk away from unfavorable situations with hurt feelings. Those feelings won't help you to improve, but allow them to run their course and then get down to the business of learning. Once you begin to learn from your losses, you will look forward to trying new things without the fear of failure. You probably don't realize how much fear has held you back in the past. Equally, you probably don't realize how much fighting with your losses have held you back either. And you won't realize how much these factors have impeded your progress until you start implementing sound strategies to achieve real progress. Earlier in this episode, I talked about the concept of believing in yourself. And I asked you, how does a person believe in himself or herself? Or what is required to build your belief in you? I've given you enough time to think about it. Let me know your answer in chat. So saying believe in yourself is much easier than believing in yourself. I think believing in yourself is complicated by the mindset we practice and the losses we've experienced. If you let it, losing can make you feel like a loser. Now, couple that with having an ever-shrinking survivalist mindset, and it becomes clear why you might feel powerless to change your situation. Believing in yourself is not an automatic, natural response to life's issues. We have to take deliberate action to build an emotional infrastructure and thought processes that fuel our confidence and validate our worth. Therefore, I'm going to give you 5 keys for building faith and confidence in yourself. For all resources mentioned here, you can find links in the description below. Number 1, stay close to God. Without fail, every time I reach out for God, He reaches back, letting me know He is with me every step of the way. When I feel fearful and small, those are times when I haven't been in contact with God. If you want to learn more about God's love for you and how to come into a close relationship with Him, watch the Valentine's Day episode called Dirty Love. Number 2, make self-care a priority in your life. Every day we need to rest, replenish, and refuel. We can't keep running on empty and expecting oppressive results from ourselves. Try driving a car when the tank is empty and see what happens. You will be on the side of the road going nowhere fast. Also, if you're the type who selflessly gives to others, let me make it clear that self-care is a prerequisite for serving others. Great service comes from a place of abundance. There's no abundance to speak of if you're running on empty. Rest, refuel, and replenish, and be sure to watch The Beauty and Power of Self-Care for more tips on how to keep your A game going strong. Number 3, focus on the solutions, not the problems. I wholeheartedly believe in properly defining a problem. If I relied on other people's analysis of problems, I would have created ineffective solutions time and time again. So I'm not negating the need to evaluate the details of what went wrong and why. That's really step 1 to creating an effective, efficient, and economical solution. Most people, however, mull over problems time and time again. They become self-absorbed in their problems, not in an effort to find solutions, but to torture and torment themselves. I've done it. And when I've fallen into that rut, soon after I mentally shift gears and start brainstorming solutions. And you need to do the same. Number 4. Now, number 4, you might not like it, but here it is anyway. Number 4, suck it up. There are people in the world who have done more with less than what you have right now. I need you to suck it up, remember who you are, and trust your God to do it. Won't he do it? Girl, yes, he will. Number 5, create an accountability group. Here and there, we get off track. We slow down when it's time to speed up. We speed up when it's time to slow down. An accountability group can help you see your life in a 360-degree view so that you can stay on task while being honest with yourself about your progress and challenges. There you have it. 5 keys for building your faith and confidence. If nobody said it to you today, here goes. Believe in yourself. Hey, you are not alone. You don't have to walk this journey by yourself. We are relational beings. We need each other, not only to survive, but to thrive. It's not good for you to try to succeed alone when you know there's strength in numbers. If nobody else has your back, I do. All you have to do is reach out to me. My contact information is on the screen and in the description below. I hope to hear from you soon. But until then, be bold, be great, and be inspired. I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for joining me today on Danielle Inspires. If you haven't done so already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the alert bell so that you are aware of new content as it is being released. I'd love to hear from you as we take this journey together. Give me a shout out in chat and join me here next week for more inspiration to fuel your transformation on Danielle Inspires.